So we're going to talk about the difference of showing and telling really quickly. So several of you have issues with, well, what is showing, what is telling? Now here's a really great example. John was angry with Mary. On the surface, it's not a bad sentence, right? But then think about the opposite. John slapped Mary, right? It's obvious that he's upset with her. This is ambiguous, right? John was angry with Mary. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. You are telling the reader what to think, right? Whereas if John slapped Mary, that's something that the reader is watching that they can create their own idea from, right? So your job as a storyteller is to find verbs like this, right? John slapped Mary. That's a strong verb. So you need to find a good verb that communicates what you're trying to say. John was angry with Mary. Was is the verb here. That's not strong. We have no idea what was looks like. We have a very good idea of what slapped looks like, right? So that's one way to make your scene stronger. Another is several of you are struggling with adverbs. So, for example, she caressed lovingly. She asked imploringly. These are things that don't stand on their own. So caressed lovingly. Look at this adverb here. By the way, adverbs are generally ly words. They're not always, but they often are. So lovingly, right? Here's an ly word. This is describing caressed. But caressed is a strong enough verb on its own, right? You know what caressed looks like. You know that when you caress somebody, it is with love. So you do not need this word. Another thing, what does implore mean? Implore means to like beg or to ask. So while asked is asked, and it's not necessarily to implore, you could substitute this by just saying that she implored, right? Or you can make sure that what she said, the part that I haven't written on the board, what she said is strong enough that you can see that she's imploring. Because you shouldn't feel like you need to tell us that she's begging, because what she's saying should be strong enough that it appears like she's begging. See what I mean? It gets down to how strong the words are. Do they stand on their own? If you have to add a word like this or a word like this, it's not strong enough and you need to revise it. Additionally, when you're describing things, somebody walked quickly, right? You get an idea of what that looks like. Walked is a strong enough verb, and quickly is a strong enough verb. But wouldn't it be better if you said that this person ran? We get a better idea of what that looks like, and it takes up fewer words, fewer spaces on the page. Same thing, said loudly. We know what said looks like. We know what loudly sounds like. But wouldn't it be better if we said that that person yelled? Again, we get a better idea of what it sounds like. And then back over here, if what they're saying is strong, right? And if maybe the other person is covering their ears, you don't need to tell us that they yelled at all because we can see that based on the other character's action. So in show, don't tell, the key is to make sure that your verbs are strong. Make sure that they stand on their own. That's the key. So, and here's another thing, by the way. Your first draft is supposed to be terrible. Right? Your first draft is always supposed to be the worst thing you've ever written, because when you go back with a second lens and see all this stuff, it's really easy to fix, but it's not easy to predict. So when you're writing a story, you don't know that you're going to instead say caressed. You just have to make sure that you say it.